Bonjour à tous and welcome back to Frenchified with the French Dude. Unlocking fluency with Coach Sam. In English, now get to be independent, but in French, a now is completely lost without its partner. If you forget this tiny word before a French now, it's just a grammar mistake. You are stripping the word of its identity. Saying je veux pomme, it's hurting French ears. In French, you can almost never leave a noun naked. Today, we are learning how to dress them properly with French articles. Allons-y! There are three types of articles in French. That is, the indefinite article called article indéfini, the definite article called article défini, and lastly, we have the partitive article called the article partitive. Now, let's start with the indefinite articles. This article indicates that the nouns referred to are not precisely determined or known. They include un, which is a and un for masculine singular noun, and une for a or an for feminine singular noun. And we have they, which simply means some or any for both masculine and feminine plural. For instance, you can see it in un homme, un pantalon, un chien, and for feminine, you can see it in une image, you can see it in une table, and for the plural, you see it in des hommes, des tables. So let's go to the uses of the indefinite articles. Apart from the ordinary use of the indefinite articles to indicate the gender and number of nouns, they have some other grammatical value, such as one, an index of generalization, that is, when the noun is taken as the representation of the whole type. For instance, you can find it in un père doit monter de bons exemples à ses enfants. So you can see it, which means a father. Now we're generalizing it, that fathers should show good examples to their children. And number two, you can see it as an indicator of emphasis, especially in exclamation. So you can see it in elle a des cheveux, which means she indeed has hair. And three, you can see it before a proper noun, either for emphasis or when the proper noun has the value of common noun, as in un César, un Hitler, un Napoléon ont bouleversé le monde entier, which means Caesar, Hitler, and Napoleon turned the world upside down. Omission of the indefinite article. The indefinite article is omitted in the following cases. You can find it after the verb être. That's when the verb is followed by a non-modifying noun indicating nationality, religion, or profession. For instance, you can find it in Temitope est avocat, which means Temitope is a lawyer. Nous sommes Togolais, which means we are Togolese. Vous êtes chrétien, which means are you a Christian? Now, number two, after quel, that's in exclamation. You can see it in quel bel homme. That's what a fine or handsome man. Now, you can find it before a noun in apposition or after a noun that is a complement of another noun. For instance, you can find it in un professeur de géographie, that's a geography professor. Un pantalon de coton, a pair of cotton trousers. The indefinite article is omitted after the preposition sont. Elles enseignent son méthode pédagogique. That's they teach without teaching method. Then you can find it after avec when used with abstract noun. For instance, you can see it in nous faisons tout avec soin. We do everything carefully. Then the indefinite article is omitted after the conjunction ni. That's example, you can see it in je n'ai ni père ni mère. That's I have neither father nor mother. Now let's go to definite articles. These are articles placed before noun to show that such nouns are particularly known. They are le for masculine singular, and we have la for feminine singular, and we have l apostrophe for masculine or feminine singular, now that begins with a vowel or silent h. And we have le for both masculine and feminine plural noun. For instance, you can find it in le cahier. You can find it in le plateau. You can find it in le camion, le soda, l'oiseau, le terre, la voiture, la robe, l'air, or you can still find it also for the plural. You can find it in les cahiers, les plateaux, les camions, les oiseaux, les hôtels, les voitures, les robes, et ainsi de suite. So now let's go to the uses. That's uses of the definite article. Now, definite article are used in French language with all abstract noun or noun used in a general sense. For instance, le chien est un animal fidèle. That's the dog is a faithful animal. That's all dog in general. You can also find it in l'amour est divin, which means love is divine. Two, with titles in indirect speech, such as le président Goodluck est amicable, which is President Goodluck is friendly. Then, sometimes when used as a demonstrative, like for instance, le grand moment, which means the great time. Or you can find it in la vie humaine, that's the life of man, instead of using set. They are sometimes used as possessive. For instance, you can find it in elle perd la mémoire, which means they are losing their memory, instead of using l'air. Il m'a pris par la main. He helped me by the hand, instead of using ma. Sometimes before now to show emphasis or as a family. Now you can see it in les David ont illustré cette génération, which means the David exemplified this generation. Or you can see it in les Psalms ont voyagé. That's the Psalms went on a trip. Now, when a proper noun denotes work produced, for instance, you can see it in le Racine est très intéressant, which Racine's work is very interesting. Or you can find it before proper noun indicating continent, countries, province, mountains, sea, rivers, or island. Example, you can find it in l'Afrique, l'Europe, l'Asie, le Ghana, le Gambie, la Méditerranée, la Kilimanjaro, l'Océan, le Caire, et ainsi de suite. So now, let's go to the contraction of articles. Some definite articles contract with the preposition a and de in the following ways. Now, in French, we don't say le. Instead, it gives us e. Allah remains Allah. A plus L apostrophe remains al L apostrophe. Ale changes to e. Then de le gives us du. De la gives us de la. De L apostrophe gives us de L apostrophe. De plus le gives us de. So we don't say de le. It gives us de. Now, examples, we have donner les clés du professeur aux élèves intelligents. That's give the lecturer's key to the intelligent students. Il a parlé à l'étudiant de l'année préparatoire. That's he speaks to the preliminary year students. Les robes des filles sont jolies. The girls' dress are fine. So now let's talk about the partitive articles. These are articles placed before uncountable nouns to indicate a part or a certain quantity of the whole thing as referred to in the sentence. They are du, that's which means some for masculine singular, de la, some for feminine singular, and de L apostrophe, some for masculine and feminine singular nouns that begin with a vowel or a silent H, which is H muet, or de, some for both masculine and feminine plural noun. You can see them in il y avait du sucre. There was some sugar. Vous buvez toujours de la bière. Do you always take beer? Elle mange des bonbons. She eats or she's eating some sweets. Now, I want you to know that only the preposition de of the partitive article is indicated in certain cases. Now, when nouns are preceded by adjective, as in, j'ai passé de bons jours là-bas. I spent some good days there. Titi a mangé de bons oranges. Titi ate some good oranges. Two, when forming negation. For instance, you can see it in n'ont-ils pas de craie? Do they not have chalk? Or nous n'avons plus de crevettes à vendre. We have no more ties for sale. And also you can see, be careful because you can see it in je n'ai pas du temps à gaspiller. which means I don't have the time to waste. Then, after expression of quantity, as in assez de, autant de, beaucoup de, une douzaine de, moins de, une livre de, un peu de, tant de, trop de, un kilogramme de, et ainsi de suite. So, with all this, we used de. And then, you can also find it in, for instance, j'ai besoin de grammes de sel. I need some grams of salt. Or, j'ai besoin de beaucoup de grammes de sel. I need many grams of salt. Exceptions are la plupart du, la plupart de la plupart de L apostrophe or la plupart des, or bien du, bien de la, bien de L apostrophe or bien des. For instance, you can see it in la plupart des citoyens aiment trop l'argent. Most of the citizens love money too much. Or bien des choses à la famille. Many regards to the family. Plusieurs and quelques require no partitive at all. For instance, you can see it in Ahmad a écrit plusieurs lettres, which means Ahmad wrote several letters. Or you can see it in nous avons quelques romans. We have some novels. Finally, some nouns have both masculine and feminine genders. The only difference is shown through the article used. For instance, we have un enfant, a male, une enfant, a female child, or un élève or une élève, a male or a female student. Bon, merci chers auditeurs, c'est ici que nous allons tirer les rideaux. Merci d'avoir regardé. Don't forget to subscribe for more French tips. À la prochaine et prenez soin de vous-même.